Hi, guys. Okay, the last lesson in math is in your textbook, page 523. And I know you're going to be really sad. It's 7 multiple choice questions. 7, that's it. But it's a cumulative review, which means it's going to go over lots of stuff. Well, not really lots of stuff, but some major points that we've talked about all year long. So I know there's only 7, so take your time on them. The test prep strategies, they really want you to focus on a read carefully. Read the questions carefully, okay? Follow the directions, make smart choices, which you always do. OT, always making the smart choices. Eliminate some choices, like bonehead answers. Remember, we've talked about that a lot. Usually there's 2 bonehead answers in multiple choice and 2 decent ones that could go either way, so you really have to focus on that. So eliminate some of those answers that you know are ridiculous, or even just 1 out of the 3 or out of the 4, and eliminate those. And then work backward from the answer. So since they give you 4 answers, if you think, okay, I think it's B, it's 12. Okay, I'm going to work back from 12 and see if it makes sense. That's how you make those good choices. So take your time on these. They're all about some gymnastics meet of some kind. Good old Sean he's a gymnast or something. But that first question on the top of page 523, let's talk about it. So, Drewster, why don't you read number 23? Oh, why don't you pause me and grab a whiteboard and a marker if you have one at home, or obviously a scrap sheet of paper and a pen or pencil or whatever. So let's try to do some of these, or talk about some of the stuff together. So remember your strategies of read carefully. A lot of you guys like to go really fast. You really tend to rush. So try not to rush and read it again. So anyway, your goal is to get 100%, to get none of them wrong, because you're all capable 100% of getting 100%. Let's watch for extra information. Like I said before, they're going to have extra intel in there to trick you. One of their favorite things, to fool you with that extra info. Don't be fooled. Don't do it. So let's look at the test prep strategy, the read carefully. When it says watch for extra information, that first little box one that's not part of your assignment. Serena scored 8 61/100ths in a floor exercise. It's something in gymnastics where she runs around on the floor and does flips, and it's very entertaining. The floor exercise was held on a square mat. The length of the mat was 12 meters. The length of the mat was 12 meters. What was the perimeter of the mat? So that actually has some extra info in it. Which was the extra info? Anyone? Her score. We don't care about her score. They just threw that in there to be like, oh, what do I have to know 8 61/100ths for? Well, nothing. That was her score. So that was some intel that they added in there that wasn't needful. The floor exercise was held on a square mat. There's information in that little phrase, square mat. What do we know about a square? What do we know about a square? That's pathetic, but equal sides. So if you know that one side is 12 meters, then what do you know about all the other sides? Anyone? Ashlyn, she's like, they're all 12 meters. So you have a square 12 meters by 12 meters. Okay? 12 meters by 12 meters by 12 meters by 12 meters. Okay? Pretty easy. And then the grand question is, what was the perimeter of the mat? So perimeter equals side plus side plus side plus side. So if here's Sally right here, side plus side plus side plus side. That's kind of hard to do, looking at it backwards. But anyway, so you're just adding 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12, or you could multiply 12 times 4, which we all know is 48. So, and it even says the answer is B. Look at that little blue guy. See the blue guy? All right, anyway, so the rest of these questions are about good old Sean, and he is at some gymnastics meet, some competition. It says write the letter of the correct answer, so all you have to do is write the letter and read carefully and use any strategy you wish. So basically, read carefully. I just want to go over a couple things. Number 1, line up your decimals correctly, because I believe you might be adding or subtracting. I'm not going to tell you which one, but add them up correctly and write them up and down. You know how I feel about writing them across. Write them up and down. Okay, number 2, there is extra intel in number 2, so don't be fooled by that. Number 3, it's a classic. It's a classic. Well, you're going to tell me if it's a classic, multiplying, dividing, adding, or subtracting. But let's look at number 3. It says 6 teams took part in a gymnastics meet. There were 48 gymnasts in all. Each team had the same number of gymnasts. How many gymnasts were there on each team? Classic, they give you a big chunk. They want you to divvy it up in separate teams. And classic dividing. But you're like, well, how many teams were there again? They did it in word form. SIX, they spelled in 6 instead of the letter or the number. Sometimes that's confusing too. So like pay attention to stuff like that. Let's see, number 4, the number 4 is classic. Sean brought a bag of tangerines, okay? So he brings this bag of tangerines. He ate one, he gave 4 away, he had 5 left. So how many tangerines were in the bag to begin with? Well, to begin with, you're going to have obviously more than 5 because he gave away 1 and he ate whatever, or he ate 1 or whatever. So you can eliminate number 5 or D right away, 5. You can eliminate that because there's no way he started with 5. That's the kind of logical thinking that's going through your little brains. Okay, and then number 5, that's kind of fun to do. And then 6 and 7 talk about clocks and time. Ooh, I bet you missed this baby, the mama clock of the little baby clock. So remember when you're looking at your clock, how many minutes are in an hour? 60. How many little hash marks are between your minutes, between your giant numbers? 5, and so on. So let's just look at the meeting. Which one do we want to do? Let's do number 7, the last one. A gymnast. Anyone want to read it? Anyone at all? I don't know. Who? You can all read it. A gymnastics competition will begin at 9:15 a.m. and is scheduled to last 6 hours. So you got 9:15 a.m., so that's morning or night, or in the nighttime. Well, it would only make sense that some gymnastics meet starts in the morning and goes for 8 hours. So that would be a.m. means before noon. And is scheduled to last 6 full hours. So what time will it end? The only really hard part of this is a.m. or p.m. Look alive on that. Because 9, you're going to go 9. Now, you don't even have to move this around, but just remember you've got 9:15, 10:15, 11:15, 12:15, and so on, and you're counting 6 hours. So remember, you don't count the 9. You'd hop, okay, from 9 to 10, so you'd go 1 hour, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay, so just if you have a giant clock at home, which I highly doubt you have a fun plastic clock like this, but you have a analog clock somewhere in your home, maybe. Anyway, so you can always make one too. Draw one if you want. So yeah, 7 questions. In fact, this video is probably longer than it's going to actually take you to do this work. So it's called a cumulative review, which means it goes over lots of different things we talked about. Okay, have fun in math. You can kiss this little orange math book goodbye because you're going to return it to me. And you, my friends, are done with 4th grade. Congratulations. I will talk to you soon, hopefully.